Thank you for being here. That hopefully means that your student is interested in CCP for next year. How we're going to run this, I'm going to do a quick overview of the CCP program. This is actually the state of Ohio's PowerPoint. I kind of condensed it for what makes the most sense for us to talk about. Then I'm going to have the colleges that are here, because we do have 5 college representatives here. I'm going to have them come on stage, do a quick overview of their school. At that point, you can ask any questions that you might have over the CCP program. They could be college specific, or they could be just general questions that hopefully those colleges could help us to answer. After that, I'll go over the folders that you should have received when you walked in. If you did not receive a folder, if you just walked in recently, I'll get one to your student if they just come to see us tomorrow or on Monday, because that information in that folder is important. After that, I'll dismiss you, and then you guys can go ahead and stop at any of the tables where the college reps are set up, and you could ask any additional questions. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so what is College Credit Plus? It's the new name for dual enrollment, so that essentially means that students are getting college and high school credit for attending college classes. Students are going to enroll in the college courses and adhere to the requirements of the college itself. This is open to students grades 7 through 12. They must complete an assessment exam to be eligible for College Credit Plus. At this point, it can be an ACT score, an SAT score, or an AccuPlacer, or an ALEX test. That's changed from last year. So Kent, Stark, everywhere will take an AccuPlacer score. Okay. They may apply to any public college or participating private college. So anywhere in the area you're welcome to apply to. And they can apply to multiple institutions. So if you want to take some classes through Stark State, some through Kent, or through Akron, you can apply and take classes at multiple colleges. You can choose from a variety of college level courses, and those are determined through those placement tests. So your AccuPlacer, your ACT score. You have to be an Ohio resident, and you can earn credit to satisfy both high school and college requirements. So if you're taking a 3+ college hour class, it would equate to 1 high school credit. And then they must successfully complete the course in order to earn credit. So they have to get a D or better to be able to earn credit in the class. You can take classes summer, spring, and fall. So any of the times you are welcome to take classes. And you can also take classes here at the high school. We do offer a couple here, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So how can you participate in CCP? So you have to be deemed eligible by College Credit Plus. So you have to be able to pass the placement requirements from the ACT or the AccuPlacer. We will offer the AccuPlacer sometime in February, which we'll release those dates closer to. Or you can take the AccuPlacer at any of the colleges. All you have to do is call their testing center and schedule a time to take your test. Okay? It's free of cost. Student scores must indicate that they are ready for college level courses in at least one subject area to be deemed eligible, and colleges and universities will review their student scores based on standards. Step 2, so after you've received your placement scores and you know that you can get into the colleges, the next step is to apply to colleges. So you can't just because you got your score, you assume that you're going to get into colleges. You have to actually apply to them too. So contact the college to learn about their process, the paperwork deadlines. In your folders, there's the exact process of how you apply for Kent State Stark and Stark State. I included both of those. And if you do have questions, students can always stop down to guidance and we can walk them through that process. Colleges do have the final decision on whether a student gets admissioned. Okay, that's not our call and guidance here at the high school. Step 3, if a student is considered eligible and has been admitted to the college, the student then will discuss their course options. So again, we here at the high school don't go over the courses for college with them unless they have questions. They do all their scheduling at the college with the college advisors. What courses can a student take? College advisors will help the students know what courses they can take. So this is based on their assessment scores, so what they can actually place into, and then based on course prerequisites. There is in your folder a paper in the very back that looks at Stark State's classes and what would be equivalent to Northwest classes. So for instance, if a student needed to fulfill a Northwest government requirement, they would take political science at the college. So that's kind of how the equivalence would work. So like I said, courses can satisfy the high school graduation requirements, and both me and Mr. Snefton can go through with your student how to make sure that they're meeting their high school requirements. Sorry, my voice sounds terrible, I'm a little sick. So what courses can a student take? Courses must be college level and non-remedial courses. So there are remedial courses that you can take in college if you don't meet a certain test requirement, but those would not be covered under CCP's payment. So if you did need to take a remedial course, that would have to come out of the student's pocket. And then the courses must be non-religious. Other requirements, grades, college credit plus grades, earned in the college course, are the same grade that will show up on their high school transcript. So if they got an A or B, that's the A or B is what's going to be recorded on the high school transcript. Grades will be factored into their high school and college GPA, so they'll actually be showing up on both. Students may take college credit plus courses in subject areas that will satisfy graduation requirements. Students must complete end-of-course exams for English, math, and science. So those end-of-course tests that we offer here at Northwest that every student has to take, even if you're doing CCP, you still have to take those tests. Okay, it doesn't get you exempt from anything. Students may be enrolled in up to 30 credit hours, including high school courses. So if you decide that you want to take 3 classes at the college, that's going to give you 9 credits, and then you're going to take 2 high school credits. Even though those are 1 high school credit, you have to multiply them by 3, and that's what gives you your total number. So if you were taking 3 classes at the college that were 3 credit hours, and 2 classes at the high school, you would have 15 credit hours. If that makes sense to you. It's kind of crazy math, but they're only allowed to take 30 a year. That's covered with the payment of CCP. If they choose to take more than 30, that has to come out of your pocket. And then in total, only 120 hours. If a student enrolls in more than 30 credit hours, they will either have to pay for the course or drop that course. What are the benefits in participating in CCP? There are a ton of benefits in participating. It's a really good program that Ohio offers. Students can earn high school and college credits at the same time. Students can get a head start on their college degrees or certificates. I know we had 2 students yesterday that stopped in, and they said after this year, their senior year, they'll only have a 1.5 years left in college to earn a bachelor's degree. So it can really pay off at the end. Students can experience college early and understand the expectations of college life, and then students can save on tuition and textbook costs. So tuition for CCP and your textbooks are covered under Northwest. Northwest will pay for those as long as the student passes with a D or above. If a student fails or withdraws too late from a college course, the district will seek reimbursement for tuition costs and book costs. The grades that the students earn will be on your college transcript forever, and those will be on your high school transcript also. If a student performs poorly, they may be placed on academic probation, or they might be asked to be dismissed from the college. If a student fails or withdraws often, future financial aid could actually be impacted. So this could have an impact in your later years of college. So what are the expenses for College Credit Plus? At public universities, there's no cost to students, families for tuition, required fees, or books. At private universities, there might be a small cost per credit hour. It just depends. Some optional expenses that are responsibility of the family would be parking and transportation, which is something to consider because we do have some people this year that are in a predicament where they don't have rides to college or they don't have cars to get there. So make sure that if CCP on campus is something you're considering, make sure you do have transportation. What are the support services? So high school counselors will continue to offer assistance to any student that's a CCP. College advisors are also there to help support them and help them through the course selection process. And then colleges also have to provide the same supports that they would offer to any of their regular students. So whether that be writing labs or math tutoring, you would be offered the same supports. Will the courses transfer? Certain general education and technical courses will transfer, especially from public university to another public university. Students must check with colleges to confirm transferability. So they should all transfer, especially if you're going from a public university to a public university. The only thing they have to worry about is sometimes the actual classes might not transfer, but just the credits will transfer. But that's something when you're deciding where you go after your senior year that you want to start looking into. So what does it mean to be college ready? I think this is a really important topic to talk about because we have a lot of students that think they're college ready and get into the program and then end up failing or having to withdraw and have to pay a lot of money that they weren't expecting to pay. So being college ready is more than just being academically ready, so more than just passing those tests, but considering the emotional and social transition of college expectations. It's different than high school. They don't baby you. If you're late on an assignment, they don't care. If you miss a class, they don't care. So it's important that you guys are mature enough to understand that and be ready to take on that responsibility. You have to consider your time management. So if you're a football player, you know you're going to be really busy in the fall. Maybe CCP during the fall is not the best option for you. And then also organizational skills is big with the CCP program. Being college ready also means grades early college credit courses for high school and college credit will be calculated into your GPA. So that's important to consider because your GPA is going to be what then gets you into college as a senior. And then college credit courses will be utilized in your calculation of financial aid later on. So what are the deadlines? So April 1st is the day you need to be putting in your phones or writing down in your calendars. April 1st, everything has to be turned in. So that folder that you got, most of you got, has all the documents that we need turned in by April 1st. But the number one most important thing by April 1st is your letter of intent. By the state of Ohio, that has to be turned in by April 1st or you are not eligible for CCP the following year. And then make sure you're checking ACT and SAT dates. If you haven't yet taken an ACT, probably need to hop on that. If you're a junior and taking it in March, that's good, but you might want to look at some other days and get signed up for another ACT day. Also, you need to be checking college deadlines, so when are there deadlines for admission? Depending on where you go, they're going to have different deadlines. Find out about their assessment for testing requirements, and then what the summer semester deadlines are if you're planning on taking summer classes at the college. All right, I think at this point we're going to have the colleges come on up. Just going to go wrangle them. Does anyone have any questions at this point before they come up? I know that's a ton of information. Yeah?
If I took public speaking over the summer, does that count for an English or no?
She asked if I took public speaking over the summer, would that count as an English? I don't believe public speaking counts as an English credit. Did you take it at Start State?
Yeah.
If you look in the back, the very last page in there, it'll tell you what are English credits. It's very hard to tell because some things are kind of wishy-washy on what counts and what doesn't. If the colleges want to stop on up. Yeah?
You had mentioned transferring credits from a public school to college to private. What about out-of-state schools? Is there a lot of difficulty there?
There is more. So he asked about transferring credits from one of the colleges in Ohio to an out-of-state. It's tricky. That's where you want to probably call the college and see if they do transfer. A lot of times, like I said, they might transfer the credits and not transfer the actual classes. But every college is different. That's a good question. Yeah?
You mentioned how if you withdraw from a class, it can negatively aid?
It'd help if they like were already a Kent State student and they were taking classes there, would it help them with financial aid?
It probably wouldn't affect it. Maybe scholarships or.
They said it probably wouldn't affect it, but there are a bunch of scholarships for CCP students that wouldn't be offered to anybody else except those CCP students. It's a good question. He asked if CCP would help financially if you were already at the college. Any other questions? Okay, when the colleges are done talking, I'll go over AP and CCP. Okay, that's a good question. All right, then I'm going to offer the colleges the microphone to kind of give a quick overview of their college and their CCP options.
Oh, I get to go first?
You're going
Great.
first.
How we doing, everybody? Good. My name's Andy Domoski. I work for Walsh University Admissions. Walsh University is about a half hour away. We're a small private school, and you are more than welcome to come and take your CCP classes at Walsh. They're good for Walsh and other regionally accredited universities. Most schools in Ohio will accept the credits, for the most part. Just so you guys know, we recommend that you have at least a 3.25 GPA to interview to come to our campus. Our application opens up in January. The deadline is April 1st for that. And what we're going to need along with your application is your transcripts from Northwest and also your ACT scores if you have them. If you do not, we can talk about it later on when I'm back there.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Further from Start State. Our process is going to be similar. You have to apply to Start State online. You will need your high school transcripts, ACTs, or AccuPlacer scores. And then we offer classes 3 ways: at high schools, on campus, or online. So if you physically come to Start State, you'll meet with me. We'll go over all of your coursework. You're going to take any classes here. You work with the counselors. They send us the sheets, the class list, and we put you in those. And then there's also the online option as well. We have a deadline of May 1st. We don't have a specific score that you need to have to get in, but we do have specific scores if you're looking at specific courses. For example, if you wanted to take college comp, you would need to have an AccuPlacer score of 5 or an ACT score of 18. So if you have any questions, I'll be up there. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Erica Stafford. I'm from the University of Akron Wayne College, and just like the other colleges, we have a very similar process. Our requirements are 3.0 GPA and a 21 composite ACT, and their high school transcripts and all of that fun stuff as well. We also accept AccuPlacer and MapleSoft as far as testing is concerned. If you want more information, we do have an upcoming info night on March 5th at 6 p.m. So if you want more information on Wayne College, that's a good place to get that. Also, our credits transfer to any public institution in the state of Ohio and most, if not all, private institutions. So there's a perk there.
And I'm Jill Byers from Ohio State ATI, the Worcester campus of Ohio State. Our admission requirement is we'll look specifically at your math, English, and reading scores, whether they're on the ACT or AccuPlacer, other SAT, and so on. We have a paper out there if you want the specifics instead of scribbling them down now, but we want you to have an 18 in English and a 22 in math and in reading on the ACT. If you want what we refer to as unconditional admission, which means you can take essentially any college course that we offer. If you don't meet all 3 of those numbers, you might be eligible for conditional admission, which means you would be able to take certain courses, but for example, if you don't meet the math score, you're not going to get into the math classes or any classes that require math. We have the online application, like everybody does. Our deadline for fall semester classes is to complete that online form by May 1. And the hardest part of our application is that you need to download a form for the counselors to sign and send it with your transcript. And it's not that hard, it's just everybody seems to have trouble getting that part done. Finally, you can come to Ohio State ATI and do the kinds of courses that some people think of when they think of ATI, specific majors in horticulture, agriculture, bioenergy, and so on. or you can take the general education classes that are, if you will, regular Ohio State classes. English, history, math, psychology, that kind of thing. And I have details on the table if you want that.
All right, and they'll be at the tables outside, front hallway if you want to talk to them after. The last thing that I want to talk about is just the things that are in your folder. On one side of your folder, this is kind of your CCP file here. On one side of your folder is a checklist. This is what has to be turned in when you turn all your paperwork in and you decide to go CCP. The checklist has to be checked by you and it has to be checked by us before we'll take all of your paperwork. The things in there explain the CCP process again. There's steps to the application process. There's information about what classes you can take. There's pathways in there, so that again, it gives you some options as to what kind of classes you should be taking. There's also information about whether you're going to take classes here at the high school that are CCP, or if you're going to take classes on campus. Like I said earlier, we do offer some classes here at the high school. We offer English Composition 1 and English Composition 2. We offer college success skills, and we offer pre-calculus, and those are through Stark State. We also offer intermediate Spanish 1 and 2, and those are offered through Kent State. So again, like I said earlier, you can be applying to multiple colleges and taking classes through multiple colleges, and that's okay. The other thing that's in there, like you asked, is about AP versus CCP, because that might be a question that some of you are asking. AP and CCP are different. CCP, as long as they get a D or above, they're going to get the college credit for that college. AP, they have to pass or get a score on the AP test at the end of the semester to be able to be eligible for the 3 credit hours of class. So it's different in that way, and it's a $90 test. It's offered in May, so they would have to be able to score the score that they need to get into, or to be able to get the college credit. So that's where it differs a little bit. Other things in there, there's your letter of intent. I know I have Stark State and Kent State Stark's permission forms in there too, because that seems to be something that people forget about. So those would need completed before April 1st, before you turn in anything in that folder. Any documents that you plan on using have to be filled out and turned in to us. I think that's really everything. Is there any other questions for me, for the colleges? Anything specific or anything that I'm leaving out? Yes?
So they're doing it, if they're doing an AP class, do they have to go through that thing they're doing, like applying for the college too, or is it just take the class?
So she asked for the AP classes, they have to like apply for college. They would just take the AP tests. Yeah.
If we're already enrolled in classes, we have to review all of the results and stuff.
Start State, don't they have to reapply?
Not the application, but the student permission forms every semester.
Okay, so only the student permission forms if you are already a CCP student for the next year. Just need you to Start State.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyone else, questions? Okay. And both me and Mr. Snefton are available. If you guys have other questions, feel free to email or call, or stop in or ask us here at the end. But we want to help you through this process, so don't feel like you're alone or you're only working with the college. We're working with you too on our end. Yeah, thanks for coming out. So if you want to stop at the colleges, their tables are set up outside in the hallway. Just give them a second to get there.